Catholic Church left behind, basically. But
Derya, did you
yes.
put a device down on your desk? Getting a buzz now all of a sudden.
Oh, hang
Yeah,
on.
hey,
Yes,
perfect.
I
You
did.
fixed it. You're a
Yeah.
genius. I'm stupefied at your technical prowess.
Hey, I'm a woman. Of course, I'm a genius at everything. I don't know.
Your words, Derya. I'm not no disputations here. Yeah. So these wonderful Protestant Christian missionaries reached out to you, and by their friendship, by their witness, and just by, I suppose, by their lives, right? They made Christ
Right.
real.
Yes. I mean, it was, I think, like everybody's conversion, mine had different layers. And intellectual layer was a big part of it. These Christians actually knew their faith, and they believed and they lived their faith. So, and another thing, of course, that I had to change change my sinful life,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to become convinced intellectually at first. But yeah, so I was baptized in the Protestant church. Again, I talk about it more in my book. And a
Mm-hmm.
very good friend of mine, whom we worked together in Protestant teenage camps together, he decided to become a Catholic, and I was appalled and shocked and stupefied.
Stupefied, as it were.
Yes, exactly.
It's
That
going to be our
he,
go-to word, stupefied, all purpose. Yeah.
I know we should like make T-shirts like the deplorable, you know. Um,
Yes.
so when he said he was becoming Catholic, I couldn't believe, because all the Protestants around me were very anti-Catholic. So I decided to look into this Catholic thing myself, and here I am,
Now,
still Catholic.
and you did. I don't want to dwell on the darkness, the pre-conversion of Saint Augustine, but you were worldly. You had a string of bad boyfriends. You went through the abortion experience, so you weren't.
Hmm.
It's not like you were. You went from a monastic setting where all things were Skittles and beer. Um,
No.
did you have
Um,
a? What was the darkest time? The time you felt most alone, farthest from God.
um, so I became an atheist. I'd say I was a staunch atheist by the time I was 14. I lost my belief in Islam around I was 12. It's mostly because I should tell, I always felt that need for the transcendent, but the Muslim God, Allah, just didn't make sense. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, Muhammad's life too. So I fell into atheism, then I became a staunch atheist. So as an atheist, of course, there's no moral compass whatsoever. But I think my darkest time was after my second abortion, because even though I thought it wasn't a human person, it didn't have a soul,
Mm-hmm.
I had all those, convictions in my head. But at the same time, of course, the Lord created us in a way that no, it is a human person, and you know it deep inside, and that like scars your soul. And I think that was the hardest time. And after each abortion, I had two, I broke up with my boyfriends at the end, because it's just too damaging. So those were the darkest times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another dark time, as I look back to see, was just a few weeks right before my conversion. And it's not because God wasn't there, but I refused to accept the gift he was trying to give. So
Mm-hmm.
those are the times I look back as the, hardest times in a way.
When did you come to America? How old were you?
I moved here 10 years ago, actually. Yes, almost 10 years. I moved because of my husband.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I'm just clicking to the questions here as they're rolling in.
Okay.
What about? Can we engage the YouTubers at the same time? Okay, maybe you can, because there's some jackballs already. YouTube is like the wild, wild west. You get all types, showing up. And it's too late. There's no one there to get a lamp. No, we're cool. Okay, so Derya, one of the things that people who are not Catholic, and they look at the church as an outsider, and Chesterton has a great image here of a great cathedral, but from the outside, even the stained glass windows look ugly. They're gray and almost monochrome. It's not until you go
Hmm.
inside, when you see the reason for the building's design and how beautiful and glorious the light appears through the windows as an insider. It's a totally different a different experience altogether. And one of the
Right.
main cudgels with which people beat up the church, especially our feminist brethren and sistren, is that the church mistreats women. That women are second-class citizens in the Catholic Church because they can't be ordained. They can't be permanent deacons. There'll never be a female pope. That the Pope Joan story is a hoax. It's a myth. It never happened. Now, your experience in a Turkish context, going from Islamic to Muslim to Protestant, as a Catholic woman now, are you burning with resent? Are you stupefied that they will not let you? They won't let you preach at Mass or be a priest? I mean, what is it like for you? I've got a manly perspective. What's the womanly?
Yes, I have a stack of homilies that I am just dying to share with the rest of the people who are deprived of my wisdom. No. It's interesting because this is one of the things I try to explain it to people. Okay, let me give you an example. I wrote a little piece, a blog post on the Register about this. So it was around the time we had that leggings thing with Notre Dame. Do you remember that? Everybody went crazy about the leggings. And I'm like, oh, the Western woman has nothing else to worry about whether they can wear leggings.
Right.
And,
These form-fitting yoga pants, that's what you mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right. So like, do you remember they were all taking pictures of leggings and men did it too. So it was just like a disgusting week on the internet. So, okay, it's like first world problems, definitely.
Yeah.
And then that same week, a friend of mine sent me this little video from a TV in Qatar. And this man, a Muslim man, is using his young teenage, maybe middle school aged son as a replacement for his wife, and he's teaching Muslim men how to beat their wives lightly. And my friend is completely outraged. It's like, does this really happen? And of course I'm laughing because I'm like, no, actually this man is asking for moderation. Like, he's telling him, like, don't beat them up
He's
much.
a good guy.
Yes.
He's going for moderate. Use a phone book so you don't make a bruise. You don't want like a bloody wall spatter pattern. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Because you may have the need to sleep with them later at night. Like, these are important concerns.
Totally true. Practical way to beat. Just make sure your sex partner is not too butchered by the end of it.
Yes. Exactly. In 6 hours they should be up and ready to go. So does it make sense? So that's the kind of a culture I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And then I come here and then people are complaining about leggings. But it is, and I'm saying this because the culture, the idea, or the mentality that complains about the leggings and how women priests is a culture very similar to, in a sense, that's perpetrated by Islam, because they both miss what human being is and where our value comes from. As a woman, my value doesn't come from what I do or how much I achieved or how many children I can bear. Does it make sense? Because in the secular culture, it's different. It's like, how much can I do? Can I be in the military? Can I be a priest? Can I be it's all about the stuff that I need to do, rather than who I am in the sight of the creator of universe. And in Islam, of course, I'm a completely second-class citizen. 2 women's witness account is equal to 1 man's, and 4 wives to 1 man, like all this stuff, if you're familiar, but it's all the same. It's just the 2 sides of the same coin. Whereas in the Catholic Church, and I understand why people think that, it's mostly because of ignorance and because we haven't been able to teach our faith maybe well. And of course, they have been sinful men, surprise, in the Catholic Church. Yes, it will always be. But the fact that both men and women are created in the image of God, which would be a blasphemy to Islam, and of course, complete foolishness to the secular culture. It just it levels the playing field.
Yeah.
So we are equal in dignity, and Christ died for both men and women. It's just equal, but we are different. We have different gifts, and that's okay, right? It would be, yeah.
No, as you were talking about women being a second-class citizen in the Islamic world, even the first-class citizens, the men, are slaves of Allah. No one is a son or a daughter.
No.
Because Allah is not a father.
Right. But then again, that comes from the same idea. Man's relationship with his creator defines the entire society.
Mm-hmm.
So in a Muslim society, man is the slave of Allah.
That's wrong.
So around that slavery, around that idea, the entire society is structured, right? So it's impossible without changing Allah's relationship with the Muslim. You cannot change a Muslim society, basically. Yeah. So it's the same with a Christian society. In a true, I want to say Catholic society, meaning that, that everybody is a believing Catholic, you would see the culture going towards more what we call democracy and equality.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a point I've made over and over again. The fact that, my nickname, myself, I identify as, I just came up with this term, culturepreneur, because I think culture, it's upstream from everything. And if you look at the Latin word cult or cultus, it means to till or to cultivate, but it's also the word for worship. And I'm almost to the point now where I'm close to concluding that culture is a synonym for religion, because the nature of God, according to your collective understanding, is going to color and condition man's relationship to the state and man's relationship to the object of religious worship. So if you have the God of the universe who's a creator but who's a master, that's going to result in a different way of structuring government, and it's going to condition the kind of music you're permitted to listen to and behavior and dress codes. Talk about first world problems. Leggings, really? This is a thing? This is even a thing? Another example from Notre Dame, since you mentioned it, is the fact that the president, Father John Jenkins, is battling students that want porn blockers to keep pornography out of the dorms, and they don't want to. So, on the other hand, these beautiful tapestries in one of the main halls there at Notre Dame feature Columbus. They were shrouded.
Right.
So you got to cover up Columbus, but you can uncover everything else.
Right.
This is where we're at.
It doesn't matter. Like pornography, every feminist who think they're advancing the cause of women should oppose Islam and pornography. You would think it's common sense, but you just don't hear it. This is why when people say the Catholic Church is against women, like, this is the freest place I have ever been in my life. And again, you say, look, I grew up Muslim, and I was an atheist for most of my life. I mean, when people say I'm a convert from Islam, the truth is I'm a convert from atheism, because that's where I was when I converted.
Yeah.
So when I thought I was free, I wasn't. There is this illusion of freedom. But again, because we are not created that way and we are chasing after this constantly. But when I came to the Catholic Church, hey, you know what Catholics believe? The Queen of Heaven is Mary. No. All these, female saints. And it's just amazing if you read the Catholic history. How do you think we have all come to a place where women can have so much power, where we are physically so weak? If we were left alone in this, in the world, men would always dominate women. Because that's the order of nature. They're stronger, they're more powerful, and
it's the fall. Little thing
sinful.
Called the fall strikes again.
Right, and the only way that can be brought to justice is through Christ. There is no other way to do it. So this is the freest I have ever been. And I never thought I would have children before I became an atheist, and that's one of the reasons I had before I became Christian. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have abortion. But in that captivity that a lot of the seculars consider as motherhood, I found so much love and freedom. So it's almost like what Catholic Church teaches is so countercultural now. We can't wrap our minds around it without actually seeing people live the faith.
Yeah, it's countercultural from both angles, isn't it? It's countercultural from the point of view of secularism, just materialism, just, American secular, Madonna-loving, just all the schlock we see around us. But it's also countercultural with respect to Islamic countries, where women not only can vote and drive, but they can be university professors, they can run institutions, they can found orders, they can, there's no, except for holy orders, I don't know of any role that is closed to Catholic women, from university professors to scientists to researchers. It's pretty much an open door. I was just talking about this recently, about the paradox of it is a patriarchal church insofar as we call the Holy Father, right? Il Papa, the Pope.
Right.
We call priests father. And so the hierarchy are male. That's true. But the church as church is feminine. It's our mother. Essentially, the church is a bride. So even men, insofar as they participate in the life of the church, are feminine to the action of the divine bridegroom. And then you have the Blessed Virgin Mary, the greatest human person in history. It's not any male saint. It's the ultimate Jewish mother. Mama.
Yes. And that, most humble. Or, just said yes to the Lord. And that's what all the Lord asks. And as you see, in a way, the more I'm part of the Catholic Church, especially in America, the more I see that maybe the Lord knew that we didn't need women at the altar. I mean, obviously there are theological reasons, but also from our fallen woman nature, like men and women, obviously this original sin affected us differently. We women, we go and invade and take charge. And this is one of the problems, I think, in the church, as the men kind of retreated, English, that the woman is like, yeah, we'll fill all the gaps, but we are not willing to relinquish that that power, like Eve, very much like Eve. So
Dr. Leon Pottle has a really great book on this. It's called The Church Impotent. And the subtitle is The Feminization of Christianity. This drive to have women preachers and women deacons, not only is it can't happen for very good, as you say, theological reasons, but from a sociological point of view, we're already at 60%, 40%, or maybe even 70-30 women participating in the average parish life more than men. And so men need a salient masculine modeling of leadership. And now CCD classes, extraordinary ministers of Holy Communion, lectors, Sunday school teachers, it's an army of women. And thanks be to God, we're grateful for their work. But adding one more layer of feminine public witness is not good for the life of men in the church at all, because there's no heroes to follow. Men are built to emulate heroes and to kill dragons and win princesses. That's my spiel.
Yes, and it's like that ratio is really interesting, because in Islam it's 60% men and about 40% women, and in Catholicism I think it's still slightly better than the Protestant church. I think the Protestants suffer a lot more from that, because at least we have some kind of a form of liturgy still left, whereas they don't have that. And as you say, one of the things that attracted me to the Catholic Church, other than the theological reasons, is that I have a very proud heart, and I needed a God that I can kneel before. And I used to go to a Protestant charismatic church, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like worship. Like, worship should be that, yes, he has chosen to become our friend and our father, but it's his choice. Like, we can't pull him down to our level. So it's like, I want a God before whom I can kneel. And I think I went to the traditional Latin Mass back in England, and I found that reverence there. And when I brought my husband, my poor husband, who has just only gone to badly sad new ordinary form masses, and he felt the same thing, because he's like a 62-foot Marine, and he's like, finally, like, I can feel like this God is more powerful than I am. Yeah. So as you say, men need that, but also I think women need that too, because we are all, the Lord created us knowing that this is the hierarchy that we will thrive the most under. Does it, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. And our Lord, because people say, well, Jesus, when the Catholic Church says that women can't be ordained because Jesus only chose males, they reply, yeah, but, he was constrained by his culture. He was a Jewish man, and, he did the best he could. God bless him. Well, wait a second. First of all, Christ is God, and therefore he transcends culture. Secondly, he overturned all kinds of taboos. He appeared first to the Mary Magdalene. We just had that in the readings. He ate with sinners. He was countercultural in every way. So it would have been a simple thing for him to even make his mother the ultimate candidate for priesthood. No, never happened, because it can't happen. It just doesn't belong to femininity.
And and what kind of a God do you believe in that you think he's constrained by the first century Jewish customs? Like, that's not the kind of God I believe in. It's, as you say, and he has broken so many rules. Why? And again, in the Bible, in the New Testament, there's so many feminine heroes. I mean, female heroes. Like, there was no reason for him not to have a female apostle, but he didn't.
Yeah, it's striking. It's striking, all things considered, that he didn't. Derya, I want to turn to the questioners here. We're simulcasting on YouTube and Facebook. Derya, and also Twitter. We want to just the Wild West here. I'm stupefied at how many people are tuning in now. I'm going to give priority to. I've been kind of looking at the questions on Facebook. So our top YouTube brother. The topic is, how does the Catholic Church treat women? If you are a dyed-in-the-wool feminist and you despise what the church represents to you or how you see the church, weigh in with a question. I know Derya will have a great answer. Maybe you are a practicing Catholic, male or female, who has questions about how to explain why the church is the greatest repository of women's rights and equality through complementarity. Weigh in here, whether you're on Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. Let's turn now to... I'm laughing in my head because I'm saying the word stupefying for everything. Okay. Yes, Deacon Patrick Lapper. Derya, good to see you. Looking for questions now. Someone from Jorge Magalon from Westchester. Yeah, I wonder, in the meantime, while I'm doing this, can someone open your blinds, Derya? Just a little more light source in front of you, or is that, if it's not possible, we're good?
No, first of all, there's no one else in the house, and that's the sun going down. I'm sorry.
That's cool. Margot Basso says, but first world problems are real, Derya.
I know. I feel her pain. I know. I live in America. It's really hard here.
Deirdre O'Connell, culture equals religion. Exactly. Then she says, mind blown. Thanks, Deirdre. Donna Kolesnik Loskar says, leggings in church make my eyes bleed. Okay.
Yes, mine too.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Oh, do I have a number to call for donations? The website won't work for my phone. I'm not doing something else. Yeah, go. Can they contact there? Yeah, Donna, thank you for that. Yes, super chats, or if you want to join Coffin Nation, the doors are only open for one more day. CoffinNation.com. You can connect there. And thank you very much for your support. There's a, yeah, that's a good idea. Can you type that in? Support at CoffinNation.com. Good. Thank you for that. Nick Tom is in the house. Producer extraordinaire.
Ooh.
My gosh. Kathy Nunning says, Patrick, thank you for this guest. She is so, and there are 4 O's, so refreshing.
Yes.
There it is.
Thank you, Nick.
There. No, there's no. Yeah, no, she can't. There's no more lights in the sun's down. It is what it is. No, it's dark there. Okay, so Anne Charlotte Walter. Many women would hate me for this, but now if I can read it. But being able to grow children within my body is an amazing union with my husband and with God. But I got to do the physical stuff. So united with God, since it's such an honor offered to so many women. God pretty much had to give a few men in the God pretty much had to give a few men the priesthood.
Exactly. A friend of mine says, Larissa on Twitter, he said, well, for once the man can cook the dinner and do the dishes, and we women can just sit back. Now they
I
even want to take that back from us,
I see what
No.
he did there. Right.
Yes, she did
Oh,
there.
she
Yeah.
did there. Okay. Well, so
Yes.
if she identified as a she, no judging. No judging.
Yeah, no judging here. Yes.
No, there's. Do you have a light or a lamp there in the room? My wife just
Yes,
asked me
I
that
do.
too.
Hang on.
Yeah, maybe
Hold on.
just
I
yeah.
need to plug it in. I'll be right back.
Okay, very good. And in the meantime, we've got questions for our guest, Dr. Derya Little, author of this wonderful book, From Islam to Christ. Uh, Derya, it's a movie waiting to be filmed, and I like the title, From Islam, which is an idea, to Christ, who is a person. It kind of summarizes her story. So let's go back. So thanks, Anne. Thanks for weighing in there. Nick, Tom. Okay, yeah, you can. There's also a donate button there. You can just go to patrickhoffman.media/donate. That would be wonderful too, if you want to do it one time. If you don't want to join, Nation.
Better?
Gregory Graham says, please turn up Patrick's audio. Okay, let me know if my sound is a little
Hang
bit
on, hang on.
down.
I forgot to put my
You're
ear
good.
things on.
It's okay. We
Technology
forgive
is
you.
hard for. Is
We're,
it better?
it is. We're cool. Yeah.
Okay.
I was vamping.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, Derya, the title of your book, From Islam to Christ. I just noticed something about that title and how it's a symbol of your story, because the from to parallel. The thing that you left, Islam, is an idea. It's an ideology. It's doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
It's inherently abstract. It's a thing. But the
Right.
to was to a person, from Islam to Christ. I noticed that it's not from Islam to Christendom, right?
You're right.
Kind of
It,
underlining the personal aspect of our faith.
I think Mark Bromley came up with that title, so you can send all the things to him. But I never thought about it.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
I think Mark Brumley has a future in publishing. I should tell him that.
I know. I think so too.
Yeah, this is our mutual friend, the CEO, Grand Poobah of Ignatius Press.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, wonderful. Okay, so questions about
Okay.
whether the church is anti-woman. Have you ever heard of a feminist? She's deceased now, rest her soul, named Mary Daly. Is that a familiar name?
No.
Dr. Mary Daly studied theology at Freiburg, yeah, in Switzerland, and I think I pronounced it right. And she was a self-described lesbian witch, not meant ironically.
Oh.
She was a lesbian witch. She wrote a book called Gyne Ecology, Beyond God the Father, and her tagline was, or the line that she became famous for saying, is that if God, what is it? If God is a male, I knew I was gonna butcher it, but she misunderstands the masculinity of God the Father.
Right.
God is not a gender. God does not have any body parts. God does not have a mouth. God is pure spirit.
Right.
Yeah. So it's sort of just patriarchy bashing. She gave a talk at a university I went to in Canada, and it was the strangest thing. It was in December, and she got us all to sing a song called "Oh Come Let Us Ignore Him." Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. So, but she had a following, and people like Mary Daly still do. This intensely angry kind of cry of the heart, and the focus of all that anger is very often the Catholic Church, which is doubly ironic because the Church is the place where they will find their true worth, where they will be accepted without any conditions, where their dignity as women is upheld and protected and defended. Not perfectly, the Church is still run by sinners. What do you think about this as a plan to reform the Church? You ready?
Yes.
Just get rid of the sinners. Just bounce them.
Yeah, it's going to be very empty and lonely in the pews, I think, if we do that.
There'll be two members. There'll be our Lord and His Mother.
I know. Yeah. I think they're going to be very lonely too.
Yeah, that's right, without us. Good point. All right, well, I tried. So,
yeah.
all these folks. Noelle marrying Deacon Tom Bradley, rather. I'm trying to read here. Hannah Todi Weimola. Now that's a name. Hannah Todi Weimola. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Great to hear you. We've got people in multiple countries now weighing in here. Jeff Hogue says, without the nurturing ability of women, the church would die. Without the leadership of men, the church will die. why would anyone want to throw off the balance? That's a really good point. I know you know. I think we have mutual friends in Scott Hahn. I'm not sure if you've met
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Hahn, but I heard a terrific story from his wife Kimberly at a talk. I always like to credit Kimberly. I did not come up with this. She overhears an argument between middle school kids who are in a tree, and they're
Mm-hmm.
arguing because they're playing pirate over who's going to be the captain. And the boy says, "I'm the captain." Boys are captains. And the girl said, "I want to be the captain. Why can't I be the captain?" And so they had this arguing match, and the swords came up, and it almost came to blows. And just before the mother went to intervene, the girl says, "Okay," she says to the boy, "You be the captain. I'll be the captain's mother."
Excellent. Yes, I think that's where we are.
Yeah.
No,
So where's true power, right?
yeah, it just reminds me of that. Have you watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes, filmed in Toronto. Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful movie.
when the wife says the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck.
Is the
It's
neck?
like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, yeah.
That is so cool. There's a mystical tradition that refers to the Blessed Virgin as the neck of the church. Christ the head of the church of the body, and Mary's the neck, so close to the head. And so it's a beautiful kind of poetic image there. Yeah.
It's I think this desire for women to become priests or priestesses or whatever they would ever be
All of a
called,
sudden, way
it
better.
also takes away from our attention from Our Lady,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's not enough to be like her. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like, this is just clearly not our perfect example. We just need to be more by becoming priests, but he's the perfect example of for all human, I mean, for men and women alike.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's almost like an attack on her as well as our Lord. It's not just, oh, you're trying to elevate Mary. Like, no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you're pulling her down, thinking that rest of the men are better than him by becoming priests. And also
Right.
there is that idea that, they think I think this is one of the reasons they want women priests, that it will fight this clericalism.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that means that you think by becoming priests, men automatically are better.
Yep.
In a
Like
way.
it's a magical virtue machine.
Right. Exactly. And it's like it actually feeds into the idea of actual clericalism, that the clerics are above the laity. I mean, it's a different call, different vocation. They have different graces and whatnot, but, it's still the same sinning, evil.
Yeah, it's the same raw material of fallen human nature. Yeah,
Mhm.
you can have holy laymen and women who are saints, legit, and you can have men who wear Roman collars and got ordained, but they're demons, they're predators, they're crooks. So
Mhm.
ordination is not a magical installation of virtue by any stretch.
Yeah.
I'll give you one more. I want get some more questions too on whether the Catholic Church mistreats or respects women, and that is it's from a book called The Wit and Wisdom of Good Pope John. It's about St. John the 23rd. And when he was consecrated, I believe it was the Archbishop of Venice, his mother was still alive. And in the receiving line after the consecration, she was there, and he ostentatiously, in an affectionate way, he stuck out his episcopal ring for her to kiss. And she slapped his hand. And she said, "You wouldn't have that ring unless I had this ring." She pointed to
Excellent.
her wedding ring. So I thought that was that's just a wonderful snapshot of the balance of the faith between marriage and the single life.
Excellent.
So, okay, that's cool. All right, so what's going on with... Thanks for the comment, by the way, Jeff. And thank you, Donna. Thank you very, very much. I'll try to stay close to the mic when I read from the Facebook. Good. So I think the sound's a lot better now. Thank you guys for everything. Jeff Wrigley, good to see you, buddy. Oh my gosh, friends and enemies alike. All right, let's go to the YouTube here. People from Australia, Phoenix. Wow, Southern California. Remember, as you pointed out, the wrong side of the country. Saber asks this: How is your family taking your conversion? Do you have contact with your family of origin, Derya?
Yes, I do actually. My father, my brother, and my nephew are coming to visit me next month. So prayers for me.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because unlike most Muslim converts, in a way, I was blessed that my parents were divorced. We had a very broken family. And if I didn't become Christian, I don't think I would have any contact with them. If you read my book, you would understand
Mm-hmm.
my just, broken life. But because of my conversion, I kind of brought the family back together, and I explained both my father and my mother why I was willing to have any relationship with them.
Yep.
And that was because of Christ. So that kind of turned us into a somewhat functioning family. Of course, they are still divorced. My father is married to his fourth consecutive wife, not
Mm-hmm.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Okay. Clarity
yeah,
on that. Yeah.
yes. So anyway, but it's they're taking it well, but this is not a common experience as far as conversions from Islam goes. But I've been blessed.
Is a Muslim from Turkey liable to have some kind of fatwa on his head if he becomes a Christian, or is that more a function of more Middle Eastern, Arabic/Islamic countries?
It's more common in the Middle East, and in Turkey, you kind of learn how to keep your head down. You kind of try to live within the law, but it has gotten a lot worse, of course, since I moved here because of our president. But
Mm-hmm.
even when I was here, there were 3 Protestants whose throats were slit, like literally. And there was a bishop who was murdered, Catholic bishop, a priest who was killed praying before the altar. So, but it's not as common as the Middle East. So it's slightly better, but nothing like the West.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Someone named Total War Legendary. I don't know if that's
Okay.
his real name, but here's the comment: Make Istanbul Constantinople again.
Well, you're gonna have to take that off with the Turks. I am afraid.
Have you
Hey,
been? Have you been to the Hagia Sophia?
yes, I have. I don't think it's gonna go back to being a church
Anytime soon.
anytime soon.
Mm.
No. But also, again, looking back, I tell people, the Ottomans were very clever using the division between Protestants and the Catholics, and the empire in Constantinople
Yep.
didn't get any help from anybody else. So hey, it's our own divisions. Islam will always be here as long as we have Christianity. Islam will creep in. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Istanbul is going to remain Istanbul, I'm afraid, for a while.
Well, I'd rather have an uncomfortable truth than a false certainty. So, Greg Cromer says, "Why do women dress provocatively at Mass? They know dressing like eye candy is a huge distraction. It's sinful, but priests let it pass for fear of being attacked."
You know what? I don't think most women know. I know people say women are really complicated to understand, and I never
I say that.
I know it's not true. Men are very complicated too.
Nah.
Not until I got married, I actually understood how male mind works. Does it make sense? So
Mm-hmm.
we women are not turned on, visual. That just
Right.
doesn't work with us. I mean, there are some things, yes, but like you see all these memes on the internet. What's the guy who plays Thor? He was like, he's a big, handsome dude, but he was baby wearing. And that was the meme that says, this is women porn. Does it make sense? Not that he's so sexy and he has muscles. So we don't understand. And when women dress, they're like, hey, I want to look good for myself. They don't quite understand what that is actually doing to the male mind. So I would always give a woman at the church who's dressed inappropriately the credit of the doubt. And it's always hard to hear this stuff from another man. Unless a priest has a really, really good relationship with this woman, which I really doubt in that occasion.
Yeah.
It's really hard. It's not a good place to start a conversation.
Yeah.
And one of the things I say again is about Christianity. You don't have this in Islam or in secular. On the secularism part, it's all man's fault for thinking that the woman is dressed provocatively, right?
Yeah.
And on the Islam side, it's all women's fault for trying to seduce men. But the Christ says, look, if your eye makes you sin, gouge it out. He doesn't say, hey, that woman was wearing inappropriate dress. As men, you guys need to guard your eyes, turn your head. Of course, there's our responsibility too, but I just want men to understand that women doesn't quite see the world
Mm-hmm.
the way men do.
Very true. We have different lenses, our brains work differently, 100%.
Hmm.
Someone says maybe this is a name, a Google account, used the term Catholic. I'm not sure what that was a reference to. Christendom is better. I mean, this is antics with semantics. I think people basically know what we're talking about here.
Hmm.
So Faith Wisdom, I don't think it's her real name, says, as a woman, I'm not a feminist. I'm an equalist. Both genders are equal in value, but different. Now that triggers me. You are guilty, madam, of common sense. You're banished. You're banished. Faith Wisdom also adds helpfully, Patrick, your mouth next to the mic, not your ear. Okay, thanks. Wow, beautiful. I think this is total word. Yeah, I want. There's a lot of funny comments, but they're off the point here. By the way, what we're doing now with Derya Little, author of From Islam to Christ, is what we do regularly inside Coffin Nation. We have a feature called Ask Away Thursdays, and we do this conversation where you get to have at the guest, and it's kind of a closed loop of conversation. Find out more at coffinnation.com. We open the doors 3 times a year, and tomorrow they are going to be shut again until we don't know when. So, coffinnation.com, there are 3 levels of engagement. There's commentary, there's a closed Facebook group. There is opportunities to learn from mentors like Jordan B. Peterson, who's one of our Transform You experts. David Allen, who wrote a book that changed my life called Getting Things Done, The Art of Stress-Free Productivity. Ken Davis on how to become a more confident public speaker. So those are all features that happen every month inside Coffin Nation. Let me put the link right here. One more time. Beautiful. Oops, I missed a W. Here, let me do that again. If you know the Jeopardy theme song, Derya, it'd be great to just lay it in now.
No, I didn't grow up here.
Oh, this is really awkward then. No, it's goes.
It is very awkward.
Okay, I'm fixed. I'm fixed. Okay. Fool of a Took, possibly not his real name. Patrick, how does Derya suggest we witness to our Muslim female friends? Michelle.
This is very hard. So, okay, Michelle, you said?
Yep, Michelle.
Okay, I usually suggest people to stay in their own lane, as so women to women, men to men, unless you already have an established relationship, because again, you need to realize the Muslim mentality, especially if like a Christian woman talking to a Muslim man, very hard, right?
Yep.
So everything could come across as flirtatious. There is just that cultural gap, so stay in your own lane. Of course, like just be wise about it, and just don't assume that he's a Western man who's going to probably respect you, all that. And I'm not saying this is the same with all Muslim men. Okay, stay aside. It's really hard because Muslim women kind of are, I don't want to say brainwashed, but they grew up in a completely different culture. So the best you can do is to witness with your own life, and especially if they see your marriage, your marital relationship, if you're married, and like if you're a single woman, the best way to share the Christ, like without them understanding the way Christ sees men and women equal, the same, and God the Father loves us equally the same, it's really so hard to reach any Muslim, because equality does not look like equality from Islam. It looks like slutty women and weak men. Does it make sense without having any background?
Yeah, I think that hits at what Michelle was saying, and also asking, just be happy. If you're married, be happily married. If you're single, be happy as a single person, because happiness is a very strong evangelical element.
It is.
It's a good ad for the faith.
Isn't
She says, as a woman, I'd pray for them and try to act nicely around Muslim women. They have modesty rules, and they might think ill of women who are Christians who haven't dressed or acted Christ-like. That's a good point too.
right? No,
Um,
it's true.
yeah, no,
The
not even close.
It's one of the
Yeah,
things.
impossible, literally.
A
Yeah.
friend of mine, he's a priest, and he served in a lot of Middle Eastern countries, and he says the fact that Catholic priests are celibate
Mm-hmm.
is like, can I use the word stupefying once again
Please
in
do.
this? Yes. So because it's so against anything Islam teaches that a man is able to say no to
Yep.
his sexual urges.
Mm-hmm.
He says like random people come and ask him about how come no sex? Like this, it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah,
the fact
it
that
stands out. It definitely stands out. It's a salmon going the opposite direction to everybody else. Yeah.
exactly. So like as Christians, our lives are such stark contrast, which we don't see it sometimes how they would be because, the Western people, I think they are kind of grew up in this post-Christian, fumes of Christianity,
Yeah.
but
Fumes. That's awesome. There's a T-shirt.
fumes of Christianity. Yeah.
This,
But
yeah.
so it's like our lives as Christian witness is just such a wonderful, wonderful way to share the faith.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
100%. 100%. Let me go back to the Facebook. Someone's now humming the Jeopardy song. Sorry about that.
Hey, Mr. Paul Gray, I see here. He says baby wearing question mark. I'm gonna assume you're single.
Yeah, I don't even understand. What's baby wearing?
Oh, you don't know? You know those
Like a
those little backpacks? It's called
front packs, like a baby
front
Bjorn.
packs.
Baby
Yes.
Bjorn.
So,
Yeah, yep,
yeah,
yep.
it's called baby wearing. How do you not know this, Paul? Are you anti-woman? What is going
Yeah,
on
why
here?
do you hate God and his mother and all women, Paul? What do you have to say
Yes.
for yourself?
So that's baby wearing, Paul. Yeah.
Oh, Donna says this to women who dress immodestly at Mass. I give the death glare.
Does it work?
I
I
wonder if it
don't think.
works. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. We've also got people inside Coffee Nation, our own members here. Oh, these are great. L-Man says, yes, Muslim women are brainwashed, plain and simple. They're textbook indoctrinated using a very cruel reinforcement system, psychology, advertising, behavior modification. It's where my training is at the graduate level. I think he may have a Muslim background. And it's reinforced everywhere, isn't it? It's not just like you go to one teacher and you learn this. It's just, it's the water that you imbibe.
Right. It's so hard to explain this. It's one of the things. A lot of people ask me, why don't Muslim women just like throw the hijab off?
Yep.
Like, look, your whole life. It's calling. Okay. It's just like the people who say, why didn't the slaves revolt or join the, like fight against the Confederate army? You've been a slave your whole life. You like literal, like fear for your life. You don't even know if you can go this far without your masters, go ahead. How do you think, like, it's just that lack of understanding of what servile fear is. And that's how Islam is. You grow up in this fear your whole life. You think if you doubt, if you think you try to imagine God, if you think you question Muhammad, you're going to go to hell, you're going to get struck down. It's like that's so ingrained in you. And as a woman, you've been told your whole life, you're a slut. If you show your ankles, you do this, you do that. And it's you just can't get rid of it. It's like saying Americans, just like Americans can't imagine living in a Muslim world, Muslims can't imagine living here. Yeah.
Yeah, for inverse, opposite reasons. Yeah, that's a good point. Quick question about heaven. It seems to me that Islam is run by male lust on many different levels. Because you have the 72 virgins, right? That would be the reward for martyrdom.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be bad.
What do women get? Do they get like Fabio, the 70s male model? Do they get like a Marvel comp? Like what's the...
I don't know if you're going to make
There's no sexual orgiastic reward for women. It's all men fornicating forever, right? Am I wrong?
We're all going to be in hell, that's why. Don't you? There's a Quranic verse.
That's the answer. They're all going to be in hell, doofus.
because he
Darn.
says it. Muhammad, there's a Quranic verse that says that women should be really careful because there will be a lot of women in hell than men. So, it's going to be nice.
Man.
They're not going to be tortured by men anymore in hell. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, they get downgraded to mere pitchfork demons. Okay. Can your guest describe the difference in women accused of being unequal in Catholicism with the inequality? Well, you know what? You already kind of covered that. That was 19 minutes ago. I think we did that. L man. Yeah, I want to get back to the point a little bit. Pat Burke. Okay, this is from months ago, different topic. Okay. Can we go back to YouTube then? Here we go. What's that? Okay. Nathan Meffert says, this is a great conversation, very timely. The roles of women, the role that sane women want in the church, needs to be clarified, apparently. Maybe the wrong word. Acclaimed with no apology. Okay. Yeah. We're in such a soup of confusion about what a man is, what a woman is. I have to blame the truce that happened in 1968 when Catholic authorities decided not to discipline priests who dissented from Humana Vitae. So now, 2 generations later, with contraception allowing the sexual revolution to get out of second gear, now we have the normalization of pornography, now we have the redefinition of marriage, now we have transgender. So the idea of what is a woman, what's my role as a man versus you as a woman, people are even afraid to ask the question.
Right. I mean, because we all can do, it's like we are interchangeable, and obviously we're not. And it takes away from women as well as men. Now, it's like, hey, I can raise my kids all by myself without any damage or any shortcoming whatsoever. I don't need my wife or I don't need my husband. And obviously that takes away from both of our roles. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because the church is still, I don't want to say feminized. It's almost like more effeminate at times, like it's kind of a mockery of true femininity.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, it's not becoming truly feminine. It's effeminate, like a sickly, passive, syrupy, sentimental mush.
Right. I mean, somebody was commenting, I think on Twitter, like St. Catherine of Siena. She was hardly ever, quiet or calm or passive. That's not like the way true femininity works. But I think what happened in the church that it's become very effeminate, and so like all these lines are blurred, and the authenticity of both femininity and masculinity are lost, and we can only find it by moving towards Christ, not trying to change things and make as women priests, or it's just sad. I think that people who are so involved within the church's life don't see the damage it's doing, unfortunately. But yeah,
there's a line from Chesterton about this. It has more to do with marriage and celibacy, but it's something like this. I might butcher it literally. No, what I mean is I might butcher it somewhat, because literally we mean it. Yeah. You notice literally is the new figuratively?
Yes.
The Catholic Church has a great love of red and white. We love large families. We love celibacy. But she has an aversion to pink.
It's true.
Yeah, that guy was quite the genius. I want to throw traffic at your website, Derya Little. If you want to get Derya's books, go to DeryaLittle.com. We're going to turn the corner and say goodbye here on our live stream because I want to respect her time as well. So CoffinNation.com, that's the place to go if you want to join the 18-country strong and growing culture-building online community. CoffinNation.com is the way that you can watch the trailer. You can see how stupefyingly lovely the images are. Maybe it resonates with you. You'll know right away if this is something for you. 3 levels of engagement. The doors close tomorrow night. That would be July 25th, the 51st anniversary of Humana Vitae. That was accidental and providential. So CoffinNation.com is the place to go. You can also check out the show, which is the Patrick Coffin Show, which uploads to the world every Tuesday morning. And what's that? Yeah, if you want to see the show past guests, patrickcoffin.media/show. Maybe put that there. Yeah, so we do these live streams every Wednesday. And before we go, I want to ask you about your Latin book. Tell me more.
Yes, very quickly, we created my wonderful husband's idea, a beginner's guide to the Latin Mass. If you go to daryalittle.com, you can see it there, or you can order it on Amazon. If you've never been to the Latin Mass, get one of those, and it will walk you through. Very simple. It has pictures in it, people, and very simple instructions. So give it a try, and I'd love to hear what you think.
That's cool. That's and the reason I know it's a good idea, I thought, why doesn't that already exist? You know.
I know. That's what my hubby said.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, Derya, one more thing here. Yeah. So if you want to support the show, you can go to patrickcoffin.media right now /donate. If you want to join Coffin Nation, that would be coffinnation.com. We would love to have you aboard. There's no risk. If you want to quit. You're 2 clicks away from quitting if it's not for you. But I think you'll find a community of people who can finish your sentences, who know exactly the family squabbles that you're dealing with as Christians. Most of our members are Catholic. Some are not. But we're all rowing in the same direction. We make no bones about our Catholic faith. We believe in Jesus, and we believe in the church that he founded. So we're all about the both and. So if you want to help restore the DNA damage done to our culture, and as Derya has explained so well tonight, culture and religion are very much intertwined. Your vision of God is going to condition and limit your idea of government and how rights and duties should be adjudicated. So, with that, I want to mention this is our tagline I usually end the show with. Be a saint. What else is there? Is that the invasion of the kidlets?
Yes! There's one here.
Is that Monica?
This is Veronica.
Oh, Veronica. Hey, Veronica. Say hi, Internet.
Say hi. She's so confused.
Do you think she'd take a question on the Athanasius controversy of the 4th century?
Yes, I know all about it. My mother would not shut up. Yes?
She's going to maintain a noble silence. Awesome. She's more Mary than Martha. We have to be more like Veronica. Awesome.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, Derya, I always love talking to you. I just think you're such a great gift. I'm glad that the website's up and running, going well, daryalittle.com. Thanks for writing the Latin Mass Guide for Beginners and for your book, From Islam to Christ. So, thanks much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay,
Thank you.
You are now released because it's later where you are.
Thank you.
In the sane part of the country. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, very good, Derya. Okay, bye, guys. So once again, if you want to join Patrick Coffin, the show is the Patrick Coffin Show. The membership site is coffinnation.com. Go there. Be there or be rhomboid. In the meantime, be a saint. What else is there?